Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by a watch. Thought I would take a break this afternoon and enjoy a little bit of creek time because it's just nice. You know, if you just have started watching me, this is all spring fed. The spring is, well, it's not that far from our property. It's on our neighbor's property. 350, 300 yards maybe at most, maybe less than that. I've never walked it and measured it, but it's not too far, and it's all spring fed, and it's very cold and very clean water. So just we all enjoy coming down here and spending some time with it. So enough with my rambling. Population reduction. Yeah, let's see if we can tickle the YouTube censors' ears, because they probably do not like this. But you know, that's what the people that's trying to run the world, they're saying it. I mean, just because the censors and the fact checkers say that it's a conspiracy theory, it doesn't, of course, mean that that's true, right? Because, well, you listen to all the elites and they talk about it. And today, or yesterday, the last couple of days, I don't know, another one spoke about it. I'm going to play a little video clip here from Kamala Harris. She's one that I sit around and I debate with myself of who has the higher IQ, Kamala or Joe Biden. I mean, I give Joe Biden kind of a handicap because of his age, and I'm telling you, we are so blessed to be living in the time that we are living, to have two of, I don't know, maybe the smartest Americans that's ever lived, both together at the same time serving in the White House. It's absolutely amazing that we have such brilliant people. But anyways, today, she kind of said the quiet part out loud. Listen to this little clip here. She's talking about, of course, climate change, and she's talking about health care, and of course the children, and reducing the population. Go ahead and roll that clip.
About the impact on something like public health. When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
All right, there you go. Population reduction is going to make the world a better place. You know, it's one of those things that we hear about, and the news media and the fact checkers and everything, they want to say, oh, it's a big conspiracy theory. Even though virtually every government, NGO, world leader, website, everything, they all talk about population control and reducing the population. And here's the thing, and I'm going to say it this way, maybe I hadn't thought of it this way. A lot of times what they say is all the conspiracy theorists say that we're trying to, euthanize the population. They're trying to end the population's life artificially. And whether or not that is true, we can save that argument for a little bit later. Even if they're honestly just trying to control the population through reproductive means and stuff, that's still pretty evil. Because, well, people that are in charge of stuff, people that are in heads of government, heads of state, all these billionaires and stuff, what right do they have to control how many offspring you have? Because part of their argument is that, oh, no, we're just trying to reduce the amount of babies that are born, so that in the next couple of generations, as a bunch of people die off, there won't be nearly as many to replace it. Thus, the population will reduce in the next, 2 to 3 generations. Okay, let's just say that's all they're doing. Let's just say for a moment, now hold on. I know you're going to want to say, yeah, whoa. Just hold up for a second. Just hold up. Let's say that is all that they're doing. They're just trying to encourage people to have less babies. They're trying to spread contraceptives to, developing nations that don't use them, so we can get the population down to a more manageable level according to them. That in itself is evil. Just the fact that they are trying to control the population, even if they're honestly not trying to reduce it, if they're just trying to control it, They're trying to control how many children you have and other people have. That in itself is evil. What is it any of their business how many children my wife and I have? I mean, as long as we can support them, and we're not going to live off of the government for support knowingly that we cannot afford our children, and so we have them so that we can, get another paycheck. As long as that's not happening, what's it anyone's business? It's at anyone's business. I mean, in fact, you could say, once again, that these evil globalists are completely going against God's word, because one of the very first things that God himself did after he created us and created the world is he told us to be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. One of the first things that he commanded, be fruitful and multiply. And well, if you listen to the government, they don't want you to be fruitful and multiply. In fact, they want to be unfruitful because they are supporting, chemical and surgical castration of people. That's not being fruitful. They want to sterilize people. In fact, Bill Gates has done a real good job of that over in Africa. I know I'm probably getting really deep now into the territory of getting in trouble with YouTube. By the way, if for some reason this video stops playing on you, or you can't find it, I guess you wouldn't know if you can't find it, but you should probably go over and sign up to Locals. That is my, that's my backup, really. In fact, that's not my backup. That is my primary place. That's where I post everything that is important. That's where you get the behind-the-scenes stuff, the exclusive stuff that my wife does. We do live streams over there. We do podcasts, all kinds of stuff over there. So there's a link down in the description below so that you can go to Locals. And right now, and I hope that if I'm incorrect on this, I'll put a little pop-up thing here below, okay? But I'm running a $5 off discount if you sign up for a one-year membership. One-year memberships are $30. It means you get to watch me for a whole year for only $30. And right now I'm giving you $5 off of that if you sign up in the next couple of weeks. And I believe the discount code is 5OFF-TPH. 5OFF-TPH. If I'm incorrect, I'll make sure it pops up correctly. Either way, the correct one will pop up. 5OFF-TPH, I believe, is the discount code. That way you can get a 1-year subscription to Locals for only $25. All right. So Kamala Harris says that for the environment and for the betterment of health, we have to reduce the population. And I'm saying that, if their honest reason or their honest opinion is only to stop us from having children, procreating, well, that's evil. That goes very much against God's word. That the government, the president, the billionaires, the Bill Gates, the King of England, any of those people, they have no business. Ooh, a big old hawk just flew down. I don't think you probably heard that, but not 20 feet away. Flew down in the creek and then just back up. They don't have any business of how many children I have. And so right there, that's evil. But it's actually worse than that. They're doing more than just encouraging people not to have children. We're watching all kinds of things happen. Environmental things, yeah. How much of that environmental things is being human caused? And I'm not saying human caused because of you and I. I'm not saying because you're driving a 20-year-old SUV, human caused. I'm saying human caused by big globalists because of their HARP and their other technologies and their spraying the clouds, all that kind of stuff. How much of it is because of that? How much of the population reduction is being done because of just unhealthy living? Unhealthy living that they encourage. Look here in America. Look at the ingredients that's in food. It's horrible. There's hardly another country in the world that allows some of the ingredients that we allow in this country. Hardly another country in the world. The chemicals that's allowed into our food is horrible. And then you look at the population. I think I was reading the other day, and I don't remember the numbers. I wasn't planning on saying this, but it just popped in my head. And it was something like a study from, I think it was like in the mid-60s, sometime in the 60s. And that it was something like less than 14% of the American population was considered obese. And then the most recent number showed that like 44, 45, 47, it was right close to 50% of the American population is obese. And of course now they're trying to normalize it. They're trying to make you think it's okay, that it's healthy to be overweight. Well, it's not. I can tell you firsthand. I've lost quite a bit of weight in the last year and I feel a lot better, and I've still got some way to go. It's silly to think that being overweight is just as healthy as being in shape. The stuff that they're putting in our bodies, yeah, that's about all I'm going to say about that. The stuff that they're spraying in the air and putting in the water, yep, all that kind of stuff too. They could cause a major world war. World wars always cause lots of people to die. If you look at other world wars, hundreds of thousands to millions of total death. What about a big pandemic? You know, man, if we had something that was it had the death rate of the Spanish flu, that'd be a good way, or maybe even better. Black Death, 40% population reduction, that'd work. That would get the numbers down to where they want it. What if they actually controlled the food supply? Ooh, controlling the food supply, because you see, human beings, and I'm not saying we are animals as in evolutionary animals, but we are similar to animals in the sense that we typically will grow to the size of what can sustain us, meaning that, you know, like I just said, if you don't have the money to take care of a big family, you shouldn't have one. If there's not enough food to feed people, eventually people will stop having children, or they'll slow down, because if it's hard to feed the children you have because of starvation, because of famine, then you'll stop having children. It's the same way. You know, you can always tell out here in the country, you can always tell when we've had a good, healthy year, good amount of rain, because you'll see deer with, you know, twins and triplets. If you see deer with triplets, you know that it's been a good, healthy year, and there's a bunch of good acorns and stuff on the ground, which is what they typically eat in my area. If it's been a bad year, you know, a lot of drought, you usually only see a mama with one. It's because the environment can handle more. Humans are the same way. So if they control the food supply, then they're going to control the people. And if the food supply that does exist is really unhealthy, well, then they're controlling them in it even more. All of these things that I've mentioned, and actually a few more, are exactly the stuff that they're doing. They are controlling the food supply. They are controlling what's put into the food. They are controlling this narrative that it's okay to be unhealthy. It's okay to be overweight. You know, all you got to do is take some of this pills and put something in your body. Oh, it's quiet time's over, folks. Here comes the big pup. Yeah, she'll want to jump all over me. You know, they're telling you it's okay. It's okay to not have exercise. It's okay to not eat healthy food. You know, you don't want to grow your own food. Just buy it processed from the store, from McDonald's or something like that. That's okay. And if you get ill, you just take a bunch of pills that, you know, some company makes, and you'll be okay. The disease that's being spread, the illness that's being spread, the other stuff that's being done to the human population. Why? Well, one of it is to control the people and control the population. So this narrative that they have, and I'm telling you, it's everywhere. If you aren't really understanding of this, you need to be doing some digging. You need to get out your search engine and start searching population control, population reduction. You can add little search parameters like United Nations, Bill Gates, World Economic Forum, King of England, you know, any of those kind of people. And virtually all of them are talking about it and have talked about it in length of how we have to control and reduce the population. So, if that is what they are doing, and it certainly appears that it is, I would say that there are things in the near future that they're going to do to try to reduce the population. Yep. You know, more castration of children, more wars that kills off millions, more disease that kills off millions, more unhealthy food that kills off millions, more controlling of the environment and what's sprayed in it and what's put in it. I mean, all these things, all these conspiracies that have been talked about for years and that they're actually doing now. Yeah, a big portion of it, it's all to control you and to reduce the amount of you. Because here's the thing, if you get into the World Economic Forum, if you start kind of digging in deep, you know, they talk about how, especially that Yuval Harari, whatever his name is, you know who I'm talking about. One of the things they talk about is that, you know, in the near future, because of AI and robots and all this other stuff, that there won't be a lot of, well, there won't be a lot of jobs for people. They won't need to work, you know. I saw a study just a few months ago that AI could replace up to 80% of all the jobs in the world. 80% could be done by AI and robots. And so if that's done, well, what happens to all the people? They don't have jobs. Well, that's where universal basic income comes in. And in fact, you're not jumping on my back. That's what you want to do. You like doing that, and you're not. That's what the World Economic Forum has talked about. That's where, you know, universal basic income. But do you really think that they're going to let, you know, 6-7 billion people sit around on universal basic income, playing video games and, you know, on Twitter all the time? Of course not. Of course not. They'll be okay with some, but they're not going to allow everyone to do. So they have to reduce the population because there's just no need. You know, it's like a farmer, you know, that has whatever type of livestock. When it gets to the point that he doesn't need all the livestock, maybe they're no longer producing, you know, like chickens. Chickens, after a certain amount of time, they stop laying eggs. What do you do with them? You butcher them. You make soup chickens out of them. And that's what they're looking at, that the population is getting to the point, and the technology is getting to the point that they no longer need you and I. They don't need a lot of people to run it. Eventually, they won't need anything to run it. You know, did you hear just last week that the artificial intelligence, an actual software, was allowed to speak? Isn't that just weird to say? At a UN summit, and the artificial intelligence software actually said that in the future that AI could control and run the world. Wow, big surprise there. And when all that happens, there's just not going to be a need for as many people. And so, yeah, they're trying to reduce it. I mean, you can call me crazy, you can say I have some goofy conspiracy, but if you actually took the time to do the digging and watch the videos and read the articles and read their books, you would see that, well, that's exactly what they're saying they're doing. They're not even hiding it. They say it, they speak the truth most of the time, and then these fact checkers and stuff come behind them and say, oh, that's not what you heard. That's not what it meant. So you need to be getting yourself and your houses in order, because one of the ways that you and I can combat this, can build protection against this, is to become self-sufficient. Because if we're self-sufficient, then we're not going to need all the things that they're putting out that's going to cause the population to reduce. You're not going to need their food. You're not going to need their drugs, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you need to become as self-sufficient as possible to avoid that, because they're not talking about centuries in advance. They're talking over the next 10 to 20 years of seeing major population reduction numbers. That's significant. You need to be getting your houses in order. Folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.